Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new, I'm Nyx with Crowmate's Apothecary, and today I'm bringing you a tarot pick-a-card reading where we're going to be looking into your next chapter in life. So this is a timeless pick-a-card reading, and we're going to be looking into the things that are coming to completion, finally coming to a close, and then those new opportunities that are going to be coming to you very shortly. So within this reading, I am going to be using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck for all four groups, and the cards that are laid out here in each of the groups are actually ones that I sat down and meditated on and shuffled even before this intro, just before this intro. So these are going to be the ones that I use for your reading. Starting on the far left side for group number 1, we have this Aura Quartz representing you. Then we have this Pyrite representing group number 2. Then Black Tourmaline for group number 3. And lastly, we have Tiger's Eye representing group number 4. So if you need to, feel free to pause the video and meditate on the crystals that I have laid out before you. And then when you've made your decision, head on down to the description box below and click on the timestamp that corresponds with the group that you chose. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick-a-card readings in the future, and to join the Crow Coven, and I will see you guys in your reading. Hello group number 1, and welcome to your reading all about the new chapter that's coming to your life. So if you chose this Aura Quartz, then this is going to be representing you for this reading. And with this Aura Quartz, I wanted to let you know that it is really here to help just really amplify anything that you're going towards. So whatever you have interest in this next chapter in your life, it's just going to be so much more in depth, so much more intense than it normally would be. You're going to have this really intense sense of curiosity that is going to drive you into making new decisions for yourself, as well as digging deep when it comes to the things that you have interest in currently. So I'm getting this message very clearly for some of you that any new hobbies that you may be taking on in this time frame, you are going to really commit yourself to them to the point where you are going to just really let it become kind of your personality for a little while. But that is not a negative thing. You are just going to really be able to commit. And so what I'm really feeling that whatever you are striving towards, whatever you have interest in, you're finally going to be able to fully commit. The Aura Quartz also can help with healing the physical and spiritual body. So if you have been going through a rough time, whether it's been health-wise or spiritually, you've just felt like things have been lacking, you're finally going to see progress. So let's go ahead and get into your reading. The first card that I have is the Four of Pentacles coming out for you. And we're going to go card by card in this reading. So the Four of Pentacles here, once again, talks about having that control, being able to have this just utter control of yourself, having stability, and being able to feel like you just are really grounded. I always see the Four of Pentacles almost as like the layout for like a foundation. So you need to lay your foundation first before you build upon it, or else it won't be stable. So that's the vibes that I'm getting from this card here. And kind of tying in a little bit with the Aura Quartz is it really feels like you are hammering out just this new path for yourself. So I really see you're either currently in this state where you are beginning to feel more stable than you ever have been before, or you're going to reach that point. So this could be, for some of you, indicating where you're closing your first chapter and when your next chapter is going to be coming, or this can just be a clear sign that the beginning of your new chapter is going to be the foundation, those building blocks for your future. Next, we have the Three of Pentacles in the reverse position. And seeing this card here, this is about generally some lack of teamwork. So the feeling that I am getting from this is that maybe in the past, it has been really hard to get on the same page as other people, whether that be a partner or maybe people in your friend group, in your family. It's been really hard to collaborate and come to terms with the things that you need in order to grow. And I see that you're finally going to reach that stability. You're going to reach that point here with that foundation that's being built upon. I think you're closing out this lack of teamwork. It can also even be indication of you not working with yourself. So if you have been having a hard time getting in touch with yourself, being able to do the things that you want to do and have the willpower to push through, I think this new chapter is going to bring about a change in that sense. The Three of Pentacles reverse can also indicate you're kind of not... It's almost the exact opposite of what I was saying with the Aura Quartz, where you're going to be so curious and so invested and really like treat your new path very seriously. This almost feels like up until this point, you haven't been really serious about things. You've been kind of, and it's not even because like you're just letting life pass you by or something. It almost gives me the feeling like you feel like whatever skills you currently have, you're like, oh, but those aren't good enough to do whatever thing. It's kind of like you're pushing aside your good qualities and trying to either be humble about them, or you don't have that self-confidence of being like, oh, what I have here matters, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But I see that that is going to be changing. We are not going to hold on to that self-doubt any longer. In the Eight of Cups upright, we see this moment of withdrawing and this sense of abandonment and also this escapism. So I'm really seeing this as the things that you maybe use now as almost like a coping method to get through your current life path. And you're going to be realizing very, very shortly that these things can be left behind and that you don't need to cling on to them in order to feel more stable and feel more at ease with yourself. I'm also getting this, you just feel from here, you feel very lonely. Perhaps that's why in the Three of Pentacles reversed, there is that lack of teamwork, is because you're either in like kind of a hermit mode right now where you're not really talking to many people and you're not really collaborating with others, or you just feel very lonely. So it's been hard to make actual genuine connections with people. So I'm getting this feeling like, because I'm seeing in these mountains here, like all this, like that darkness and then the rain falling down and everything, it just feels very like hard and like lonely. And how all of these cups are like shattered. They can't hold the water that is like falling. So it's almost looking like whatever opportunities that have been flooded your way, you being represented in these like broken cups here is almost like you can't catch any of these opportunities right now because of something. There's some situation that you're currently in that's making it hard. we have the Seven of Pentacles coming out, which shows this real sense of being able to persevere and being able to move onward. We have a lot of like earth sign energy here with all these pentacles. So I think being grounded and being able to see a real, like an attainable future is something that you're really able to do. But I think the journey getting there is what's been hard for you, and the things that you need help with. But I do see this, I always see this card as going, because my eye always gets caught on the bottom left side, going upward. And how you see these kind of like L-shaped like boxes, almost arrows pointing down. So almost as if a force is pushing down, but the pentacles are pushing upward. Along with my eye, the way it's being drawn is really putting into perspective that persevering, that being able to push through despite everything kind of message that I want to get along to you. I see you having a clear vision, a far clearer vision than you have in the past about what you actually want, and being able to bring yourself to that point, realizing that at the end of that road, there is some sort of reward for you. And there is there's like an end goal, instead of just being like, well, what do I do past this point? I think though, I am getting this feeling like you are reaching this point where you're realizing how important it is for you to be self-reliant. That's the feeling that I'm getting. Because of this loneliness factor, this feeling here, is that it's almost giving me that you're comfortable in the fact that you know that you have to support yourself, which is also a very intense earth sign energy. And then lastly, well, we have the Hermit. So I mentioned it somewhere earlier where I talked about it almost feels like you're in a hermit mode, or there's a need for it. Which is all about this need to protect yourself, to protect this light that's here. So the beautiful thing about the Hermit is that it is a time for you to get really deep, being really introspective, being able to listen to your inner self and your inner guidance, and being guided to follow the path that you know that you need to follow. It's ignoring all that outside noise, because maybe for a really long time you have had a hard time in trusting your inner self. And I think that you're going to be able to allow yourself that moment of learning from what has happened and being able to go forward with this, feeling more empowered when you're alone versus feeling lonely. So with the Hermit as well, there's this time of you being to be really into like soul searching, really figuring out who you are, really figuring out your boundaries, what you want out of life, what makes you feel good and feel whole. So I'm seeing such stability for you, group number one. It feels like you feel stable overall. There are moments of sadness and moments of maybe upset in some form, but I really think you have a strong grip on yourself. For some of you, I'm getting kind of like type A vibes, where you have like a plan for everything, and that's how you're going to do it, and that's how you're going to succeed. It could just be because I always like equate like strong earth sign energy as being somebody who has their stuff together and they're just really going to go for it. I'm really getting this feeling that you are going to use the strength that you have to build up this new foundation for yourself. And you're going to begin working with yourself. You're going to be able to start seeing the opportunities that you have and building back up that ability to see those opportunities instead of running away and escaping, instead of withdrawing in a negative way, because the Hermit is still a withdrawal card, but it is so much more empowered than something like the Eight of Cups here. We also have in the Seven of Pentacles, again, that perseverance, that pushing forward, that clear vision. So I think the next chapter that's coming along in your life is that you are going to use this opportunity to be able to really settle down with yourself and reclaim your energy, reclaim your power. I'm going to go ahead and pull a few more cards for some last messages. Ooh, I got two coming out. So the first one that we have here is the Chipmunk and Laurel, which says success. So anything that you put your mind to and that you aim towards during this time, you are going to succeed. You're really going to put a lot of your energy into you, into your future. We're also seeing in the Ladybug and Sweet Pea, it says happiness. So you're going to find some level of comfort, some level of happiness that's really going to drive you during this time and just make you feel overall just so good about yourself. I'm going to put this here. And then I'll pull a few more cards for you. For group one, can we get some last messages? Whew. We have these three that fell right out of the deck. The first one says watermelon tourmaline, and it says heart healing. So going through that introspection, going through this phase of you truly settling down and healing your inner self and really listening to yourself. We also have protection in smoky quartz. So again, anything you do during this time, you are fully protected. Whatever you want to experience, whatever you want to really go out and give a try, I get this feeling like you just are going to be fully protected. So you have just opportunity at your fingertips during this time. And lastly, with Amethyst, we have intuition. So again, listening to yourself, listening to your inner calling, and being intuitively guided towards something. I feel like a lot of you know the thing that you are really, really interested in, and you either haven't given yourself the chance to explore it or you've been too afraid to explore it. And I'm really seeing that this is going to be the opportunity that you are going to take that's going to give you that confidence to go down that path. And as long as you stay true to yourself, you listen to your intuition, you will stay protected during this time. I want you guys to know that you're protected because it really feels like you're hesitant on something. Ooh, this one flew right out. So these are self-care cards, and this one here says music. So it could be that maybe you are someone who just, in general, you heal with music. Maybe listening to music just brings about so much joy, especially when you're by yourself. You feel a little bit more free because there can be some of us who are really nervous about sharing our music tastes with other people because we're afraid of people judging us on our music because music is such a personal thing. So it could be that maybe with you having this hermit moment, having this time, you're able to kind of settle down a little bit more and just listen to whatever catches your interest because you don't need to feel judgment from other people. And a little bit more literally, perhaps you're someone who has always had an interest in something to do with music, either creating your own music, maybe being in a band, maybe just learning an instrument in general, or even perhaps your voice. Maybe you're someone who is seeking some sort of like wanting to do something with your voice to the point of either like, I'm getting like vibes of wanting to sing in front of people. So either like a musical theater thing, or wanting to do like a concert where like, again, like you're in a band or something, or like a choir, something like that. Anything to do with music is going to really help you during this time and just be so freeing to you. Any other messages for group 1? We also have ground yourself. So grounding yourself during this time, really allowing yourself to come inward. That introspection, that quiet time, that pulling yourself back down to earth and really feeling in the moment is going to help you during this time. Also, again, with ground yourself, I'm still getting that like earth sign energy. Really getting that strong feeling, just so connected to oneself and connected to the earth. I'll go ahead and pull one little tile for you, group number 1. Then we will finish out your reading. Oof. So this card says, the only fear you have of the unknown is what you think you know about it. Surrender. Magic awaits you. That's awesome to see. It's a really beautiful kind of message to take on. Is, again, if you hold yourself back strongly because you are afraid of the unknown, you're never going to be able to experience the things that could truly change your life. And that is so much easier said than done. I have to struggle on the daily to push myself to do things that scare me, because I have all these fears of the unknown and the what ifs of like, well, what if I fail kind of thing. But we won't know until we push ourselves forward and actually try. So again, I'm really seeing that I feel like you're holding back and you know what you need, but I think maybe you need this period of allowing yourself to really think and experience, even if it is a lonely journey for a little while. I'm also going to roll this astro dice a few times. So this could be your sun, moon, or rising, or it could also be the zodiac sign of someone important in your life during this time. So keep that in mind. The first one we have that kind of rolled a little off a bit, but it is mostly landed on Pisces. Next we have Cancer. So 2 waters as well. And then Pisces again. Wow. So the thing with all this water symbolism too is, especially Pisces can sometimes get lost in the fantasy world. They can use escapism to kind of almost disassociate from situations at hand and using it as a coping mechanism. So it could be that might be something to just keep an eye on during this time as well. It's really drawing my eye back to this 8 of Cups here. This escapism, this wanting to withdraw, pull away kind of thing. So just be very careful during this time about allowing yourself to do that. So to recap for you, group number 1, we have the 4 of Pentacles, which is showing this stability, showing this real chance to control and have security for yourself. There has been some sort of lack of teamwork or some issue with being able to rely and properly display your skills in the Three of Pentacles. Beyond that, in the Eight of Cups, we have this escapism, this withdrawal moment here. But then we have in the Seven of Pentacles this ability to persevere, really push through and have a clear vision. And lastly, we have the Hermit, which is giving us this moment of much needed soul searching and introspection. So I'm kind of seeing you getting to this point where, especially with these two almost bookending this center point here, it almost feels like these are the things that are going to be coming to you, is this stability and this feeling very empowered and okay in just being yourself and being within yourself, because we also have success and happiness kind of popping in on either side as well. And that these are some of the things that you need to close out of and you need to allow to be released, surrender these things away from you. Believe in yourself a lot more and try to focus in on the now are the big messages that I'm getting for you, group number one. Focus on music if it is a healing thing for you. Also grounding yourself. If you are not an earth sign, if you are indeed a water sign, I think you need to pull a little bit more away from the emotional aspect of things and try to focus on grounding yourself, focus on relying on yourself and doing good by yourself. Take on that strength from the earth sign energy we are seeing here and really hold yourself just very stable. Again, stability is the key here. So anyway, group number one, if you got this far, thank you so much for joining me. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick a card readings in the future, and also to join the Crow Coven. And let me know if this sounds like you. I am so interested to find out if this resonates with someone, if they just feel like they've been pulled away, especially if you feel just really, really lonely and you need to make that change. Let me know if you resonate with that in particular. That's the thing that's really drawing my eye, is turning that loneliness into a strength and into you being able to just go into this hermit mode. I really think is a strong and powerful time for people, and it is a necessary thing as well. It's not something to fear if you have to go into that mode. Sometimes it's just to protect yourself, like how you see the turtle drawn in. I really do think it could be a very powerful situation for you. So anyway, before I keep rambling, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in our next video. Hello, group number two, and welcome to your reading all about the next chapter coming to you in your life. So to start you guys out, you chose the pyrite to represent you, or you were just simply drawn toward it due to how beautiful and shiny this stone is. And this can really help you be able to tell when things are falsities, because pyrite is known as fool's gold. So you're going to be able to see what things are no longer serving you, the things that if there are any sort of illusions that are being upheld at this point, you are going to, in this next chapter of your life, see through those lies, see through anything that is going to hold you back, whether that be someone else being deceitful toward you or you being deceitful toward yourself. So to get you guys started in with this reading, I'm going to pull these one card at a time. I have no clue what the cards are because I have not seen them prior, so we're going to go with this together. So the first card we are seeing is the Three of Wands, and in this card, it really talks about having this kind of this expansive outlook on things, being able to have the chance to prepare for certain things, and also having the foresight. So if you say for example, you plan for almost like the worst. You're all like, I have everything in a row, I am super organized, and I can see where this could be a problem down the line. When you get to that point and you get to that obstacle, you're going to be able to clear it a lot easier because you're going to have this foresight. So this could be something as simple as, I saw a tarot reading that helped me get my life a little bit more on track with things, all the way down to you have truly been putting in the work and planning for something big in your life that's going to be happening, and you want it to go perfectly. I'm seeing it as something that really just brings you a lot of life and brings you a lot of happiness, because I love the wild unknown, but I resonate with it so intensely. I love how it almost seems like all of these wands are connected. The inside has that bright color on there. So it gives me this feeling of like, yes, that warmth and that energy, that positivity is like coming from within. So it makes you happy almost to know that you can kind of see the future. You can see the things that are coming for you, or you can expand out into your next steps, that next chapter of your life. Next, we have the Nine of Wands, not Wands, that's Pentacles, my apologies. The Nine of Pentacles. And in this card here, this is very much like you are going to have so much like wealth coming to you, to the point of you're going to feel very self-sufficient. And you're actually going to feel so grateful for this moment. Either there is something that you've been working on, perhaps you have been putting away savings for yourself, and that's why this Three of Wands is here. It's like kind of letting us know that you have been putting money away for yourself in order to feel protected again. And also the Nine of Pentacles can talk about luxury, and it can talk about you spending money on yourself. So again, maybe you are going into this new chapter of your life where you are making a big purchase and you had the foresight to put this money away. So I'm thinking like for some of you, maybe you're planning a big move. Perhaps you are purchasing your first home, or maybe even moving from one house to the next. Something like that. There's some sort of change in your life where there's going to be a need for you to have planned very well and you to have the comfort of your money to rely on. And I am seeing that this is something that's coming to you. We have it in the Ace of Cups, however, reversed, that there is the sort of blocked or repressed emotions. So it could be that you are currently feeling this at this time, where you're almost needing to focus on so many other things that you're not giving yourself the chance to really process your emotions. Perhaps there's been something that's been kind of on the back of your mind that you've been thinking about, and you know that you need to really like give it time and space to grow and for you to experience it, but you just simply haven't had the time, and you can't lend more energy to it because right now it kind of feels like you're trying to just keep your head above the surface kind of thing. And because you have these other things to worry about, that you almost don't have time for this. So it could be that you may be moving into this next chapter of your life where you're becoming far more practical and more almost like a busy bee. Like you are just putting in hours and really working a lot to build up this savings, but you're kind of in this need of having to ignore when it comes to your emotions. The Ace of Cups upright normally deals with like love and having a lot of emotions, a lot of love in your heart. And so it could be at this point where with it being reversed, it could almost feel like maybe there is this lack of a partner in your life at this time, and maybe you're kind of noticing it a little bit more, and that could also be kind of weighing on you a little bit, because you're seeing this, you have the foresight, and you're expanding yourself and you're expanding your wealth, maybe making a big move. but I wasn't drawn to saying something like, oh, you're getting married or whatever, because it didn't feel right. And now seeing the Ace of Cups reversed, it almost feels like, yes, it's because there isn't that there. That's not going to be a message for all of you. Again, these are general readings, but for someone, I am feeling that very heavily. Next, we have in the Eight of Wands in the reverse position. This is such a moment of like having to delay something. The Eight of Wands, when it's upright, is generally one of the most like quick moving cards. It's like go for it kind of thing. So this is subtly almost like a screeching halt. It feels like you need to pause. So I'm seeing this almost as, don't be surprised if when you are moving into this next chapter that there is something that is going to make you pause and think, or suddenly plans are going to change, in the sense of like, if you had any travel plans, you might not be going on that trip just yet. It might be that there's just something going on that's going to be pausing that. And we see frustration from this too, because it almost feels like an outside source is going to cause this sudden halt. And you kind of are like, well, I don't have the means to change this at this time. And you kind of are just twiddling your thumbs because you don't have the energy or power yourself to make those changes. So as long as you know that there is going to be a pause on something, again, you have that foresight. You have this ability to look at this moment and go, okay, I have to make plan B, plan C, and D. So if these things get canceled, I can go to this one. Just keep yourself very organized in this next chapter. Lastly, we have the Queen of Pentacles. This card is so cute. So in the Queen of Pentacles here, she is very, very motherly, very down to earth, and has the security and control about her. And I was talking about earlier that it felt like you were going to be going a little bit more practical and not focusing as much on your emotions. And this is kind of that vibe too. She is very motherly and loving when it comes to people around her, but she also gets things done. So I'm getting this feeling like, again, you might be entering this phase where you're being a little bit softer on yourself and other people around you, and you're trying to maintain and gather up a bit more patience. I'm getting this feeling like you are going to need to remain very, very patient with yourself and situations, kind of like how we talked a little bit about the Eight of Wands here, this reversed moment, this delay. You're going to have to recognize that that's something that you are just simply going to have to deal with. I'm seeing also that for some of you that you almost kind of like knew it. Like when I was saying this, you're like, yup, like just very much like, yes, you knew that this was what was going to happen. And maybe that's just simply that Three of Wands, that foresight, is like you have a really good ability to kind of almost predict what is going to happen in your life. Even if you don't believe yourself someone who's very psychic, you can just pick up on the things that are going on around you, and you can be like, yeah, I knew exactly that this was going to be what happens, and now I'm going to implement this plan in order to branch out from it. It's the vibe that I'm getting from you, group number 2. Let's continue forward in your reading. I'd like to pull a card for group 2 about their next chapter. This one here says the mouse and a buttercup, and it says innocence on it. So that's very, very cute. Maybe almost gives me kind of like, with it being the 0 up here, it gives me like the Fool energy. So it's a new beginnings, this innocence, really going on this new journey is the vibe that I'm getting from this card. This is very odd. And this is not going to be for everyone, because not everyone wants to be a mother, but I'm seeing almost little hints and pieces of the potential of you becoming a new parent. We were seeing it here majorly in the Queen of Pentacles, how she's very motherly. It is this female deer with her doe curled up beside her. And also how in the Three of Wands, this preparation, this expansion, the expansion of a family, you're really taking on a lot of time needing to buckle down and make money, and having this cushy bit of money here because you're preparing for bringing in someone new into your life. And then again, innocence. So really giving us that, almost like how just children are all inherently innocent, and it's giving us that feeling. And that is obviously not for everyone. Not everyone wants to be a mother or a father, a parent of any kind. So if that does not resonate with you, feel free to ignore it, because I am one of those people who will never have children, and that's just for me, and it's different for everyone. But let's see what is going to be helpful for you during this time. What are some self-care things that group number 2 can do in order to take care of themselves during this time? The first one is sing. So really using your voice in any way is something that I'm seeing as being really, really important for you right now, group number 2, but especially singing. Being able to connect with the strength of your voice, being able to release any emotions, how we had this blocked emotion card. Maybe singing is something that is a bit of a stress relief for you. If you find that you love to sing, but you haven't done it as often, maybe this is just a clear indication that you should seek that out again. It can also be so therapeutic. Like, I do not like singing in front of other people, but I love singing in my car. So it's one of those things where it feels like you can just let it all out kind of thing. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from sing. Don't be afraid to let people hear you either, especially if you're someone who has a good singing voice. Next, we have connect with your ancestors. So this could be a point where you need to tap inward and really feel out their guidance. If you have an older relative who can tell you stories about your ancestors, or if you have collected scraps of pieces of their old lives or anything, maybe keep those things close to you during this time, and it can really help in guiding you. I'm seeing that especially with it being on the 8 of Wands in the reverse position. It almost feels like they can help guide you during this time. So when you're seeing delays, you're seeing this frustration and everything that's going on, I think that they're around you to help guide you and try to keep your mind open during that time and sort of feel them out to see if you can have any sort of just like symbolism from them, or any sort of sign that can help you in whatever instance that you find yourself in. A couple last messages for group 2. The first one we have is root, which shows strength and grounded. So really allowing yourself to feel strong just within yourself. Feeling very connected to yourself is something that I want to really get across. And feeling just very, I keep getting the word compassionate back in my head. I don't know why, because it is not on that card, but I am feeling this need for you to be very compassionate toward yourself. Like there's something going on. You know what? Honestly, I just got this message, and this is, once again, it is not going to resonate for all of you, but I'm almost getting this feeling like someone here is having like fertility issues. Like, you know how I was talking earlier about the whole becoming a mother? This is almost giving like really intense vibes of that because of the like almost knowing what is going on, having like wanting to expand, having the foresight, preparation, building up a savings, this blocked or repressed emotions because you're having a hard time in conceiving, this delays and frustration over and over again of something not working, and either wanting so badly or reaching that point of being able to conceive a child. It's just telling a story that I needed to say outright, because there's that one person that maybe this resonates with, but root, for some reason, maybe it's because the root chakra is really like it's very centered on the reproductive glands as well, so it could be just being very compassionate toward yourself during this time. For those of you out there who do struggle with that, this could just be a message for you to just stay so, just try to give yourself so much love during this time. And I can't predict if this is going to be something that you can finally break through and be able to see results, or if you would continue to see those frustrations and struggles. But it is something just to keep in mind, that this could be a message specifically trying to say, hey, just be calm on yourself. Like, try to give yourself some grace during this time. All right. And then oh wow. We also have the rose quartz coming out that says self-love and compassion. So again, compassion. You have to give yourself some self-love. You really do. You have to be very gentle on yourself during this time and very compassionate toward yourself, because there's going to be struggles and there's going to be just a need for you to have this gentleness about you. And this is just for everybody. I want everybody to know that they need to give themselves a little bit more love, a little bit more attention and patience as well. Let's go ahead. Now, I'll do this last, actually. I'm going to pull one more. I almost forgot one of my little tile cards for any last messages. And then I'm going to roll the Astro Dice for zodiac signs. So for group 2, any last messages? Yes. So this one says, you live in the quantum field of all possibilities, now act like it. So this is really calling to you, letting you know that anything that you want to do or have a passion for, anything, you can breathe that into reality. There's no like impossible thing. You can achieve anything that you want. You just need to go a different route, a different way, kind of thing. So now I will roll this Astro Dice here. So this could be your sun, moon, or rising, or it could be someone in your life who will be important during this time. Ooh. The first one that we have coming out is Scorpio. Next we have Scorpio coming out again, very strong Scorpio energy. And lastly, we have Sagittarius. So to recap for you, group number 2, you do have this new era that you're going into where you are going to go about things with having a lot of foresight. You're going to be able to plan for the future and really prepare yourself heavily for anything that it is that you're trying to accomplish. Then we have in the Nine of Pentacles, this chance for you to either spend a little bit of money on yourself, you've garnered some funds, so now you're going to spend a little bit, or you're going to realize that you are self-sufficient, and that's going to alleviate a little bit of stresses that you've had on your life for some time. Or there may be a shift in your funds in the sense of you may be making a big purchase because you've been putting in the work for the savings, and so now you're about to take that next step into purchasing something rather large. So that is just letting you know that you are going to be able to reach that point. In the Ace of Cups reversed, just make sure you listen to yourself, because we have this blocked emotion. Give yourself the chance to release whatever you've been holding in. Don't be afraid of your emotions and just let them flow. Next, we have in the Eight of Wands reversed, again, that delay, that frustration. Try not to let it eat away at you. Whatever is causing this delay, when it is time to happen, it is going to happen, and you are going to feel so good beyond that point, and you will be prepared for this delay. So just know that you have that strength, you have this prior knowledge. So just make plans for any outcome. And lastly, in the Queen of Pentacles, you are going to be entering this phase where you're feeling very motherly, you're feeling very practical, down to earth, and secure within yourself, and also your just your life in general. You're going to feel very secure. You're going to maintain the sense of innocence. Make sure that you go on this journey, whatever this is. I'm seeing this new journey and this free spirit moment. So allow yourself to live that, because again, you have all possibilities that you can reach out for. So live that way. We have you singing to release stress and also connecting with your ancestors. I said, especially when you see these delays and this frustration, make sure you have compassion for yourself and stay grounded within yourself. Give yourself some self-love, because you definitely deserve it and you need it during this time. So if you did get this far in your video group 2, thank you so much. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick card readings in the future, and to join the Crow Coven. And also, if it did resonate with you, especially this, I'm really interested in what's going on here with your foresight. What are things that you're planning for in the future? What is this big purchase that you are interested in making? I'm really interested in that, and I don't want to make anyone feel nervous or like they have to share. But if you want to share something that's a little bit more sensitive that I touched upon and you feel safe to do so, you can feel free to share that in the comments as well. I just wanted to be very sensitive toward that and not make anyone feel pressured or anything like that, because I want everyone to feel good after these readings. So again, I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you guys in our next video. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading all about the next chapter in your life. So this is going to be a reading talking all about the things that are closing out right now in your current life path, the new opportunities that are coming toward you, and just overall the completion of the things that you have going on currently. So to get started, you chose this black tourmaline. And in this here, it really helps in aiding the removal of negative energies, especially dealing with a person. So if you have recently, or you're even currently going through a situation with a person where there's just this need to remove their energy from your life, that black tourmaline is really going to help you out and help protect you during that time. It can also help to cleanse and purify you and bring you to this lighter vibration, this higher sort of energy for yourself, because it can help ground you and just remove fears that are holding you back and really causing you to have this struggle with your self-confidence. So to get started into your reading, these cards are ones that I sat down prior to the intro, and I already went through and shuffled them. So if you didn't catch that in the intro, these are still the same exact cards, and I have not seen them. So we're gonna go into this together. Starting off, we have the Queen of Swords in the reversed position. So what I was seeing here with the Queen of Swords is that there is this point where you are having this really hard time in being able to connect your emotions along with your mental path. So what I mean by that is that for some of you, it could feel as if you are feeling like overly emotional, or you are going about things almost in a sort of cold-hearted nature, like you're very cold and to the point when it comes to things. Or it's possible that somebody in your life is doing this to you, kind of like how I mentioned in that black tourmaline. It could be the vibe of perhaps you are dealing with a person that's acting like this towards you during this time, and this is something that is going to be closed out during this chapter, and then hopefully we will see a change in the future. We're seeing the Sun in the reverse position, which is already a pretty positive change. Even despite being a reversed card, the Sun is one that still has, like, imagine almost like a cloudy sky when the clouds pass over the Sun, but you can sometimes see those sun rays beaming through, or just overall, the Sun is still there. So it may be a little bit clouded. You may feel like there is still a bit of a struggle, or there is just this hardship for a little bit longer. But overall, the Sun, no matter what position it's in, it still brings about some sort of positive growth and positive change. It's indicative of a temporary point in time where you're simply going through something. It's you waiting for those clouds to pass by the Sun in order to see that bright beaming light shining through once more. Next, we have the Knight of Swords in the reverse position, and what I'm getting here is that there is a lot of scattered thoughts going on. There's a lot of you being pulled in different directions. So I'm feeling like if this card here, the Queen of Swords reverse, was representing you right now in your current state of being, in your moment, then you are going to still go into this next bit with, yes, a little bit of hope I'm seeing, but almost like you're not quite sure how to reach this next level, this next chapter of yours. And you're just trying to figure it out as you go. We're seeing some intense air energy here with the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords popping up. So we are seeing this mental scatter, almost as if you can't put together quite what it is that you want out of life or what you want next out of yourself. We're seeing again in the Knight of Swords reversed that you may be approaching things almost in this like devil may care kind of attitude where you're like, you know what, consequences be damned, I'm gonna go ahead and do this the way I want to, kind of thing. It almost feels like that. And there's something to be said about being able to have that passion and have that self-confidence and ability to do that, but also keep yourself in check and make sure that you're just simply aware that you are going through this situation and not trying to bring about your own destruction. Don't self-sabotage. Try to hold on to hope. Try to really think things through before you make those quick decisions. We're getting this fire, air kind of quickness and ability to think on your feet, and almost like you just want to get on with it kind of thing. So really allow yourself the chance to, again, ground yourself, take some time to breathe and not force yourself into anything that could potentially hurt you or pull away from your lifestyle. The next card that we have coming out is the Star, which is so interesting since we have both of these, the Sun and the Star, coming out. So with the Star in the upright position, this is I think I mentioned it earlier, is hope, this feeling of hope, this renewal, getting this sudden growth of I'm trying to think, just like inspiration, and being able to pursue things with this like beacon of light shining down on you kind of thing. It's almost like a spotlight finally illuminates what exactly it is that you want and what you're trying to process. So kind of like how in the Knight of Swords, I was talking about how you had this scattered energy about you. It may be that you reach a certain point where you just suddenly get this sign, like this eureka moment, where you are just like, yes, I know exactly what I need to do and how to go about it. So that's very interesting that you do have almost this period where you feel, again, if this is you, it's like you're slowly starting to realize that how you were acting and treating yourself is not what you want, and you're drudging through again this like sun reversed moment, and then you're left with like, now what do I do? Like, where do I go from here? And then you finally get hit with this moment where you realize, or if this isn't you who's acting this way, again, overly emotional or just feeling not compassionate towards other people, or even compassionate towards yourself, kind of like how I mentioned in the Knight of Swords is like consequences be damned kind of thing. It's almost giving me this vibe like you're not treating yourself with the respect that you should be, is the main message that I'm getting for a lot of you, is that you aren't respecting yourself, and you're thinking like, well, I don't see the point in respecting myself. That's almost the feeling that I'm getting. But with the Star, this is this beacon of hope and this turning point, this change that can help you see the light and see that you are worthy of that respect. Otherwise, if this is not you and this is someone else, that's treating you in a way that is feeling overly emotional or just like bitchy, just really trying to knock you down, I think, again, this is a temporary depression moment. This is something that you're working through, and you're going to be able to finally let this person go, I think. Kind of like how we mentioned in that black tourmaline, is that it can really help in removing negative energies from a certain person. But that may be leaving you with this sense of like, now where do I go? So again, just whatever your situation is, just keep that all in mind. And lastly, we have the Six of Cups. So this is kind of a card that talks about your childhood. It talks about having those childhood memories, seeing things in the eyes of a child. So having that innocence again, having this nostalgic factor kind of hit you in this period of your life. So maybe for some of you, you're actually going back home. Perhaps some of you are moving in with a parent again, or there's something that's bringing you back to your roots. I'm being really drawn to the roots here, especially in conjunction with the Star here, because these two colors, like sets of colors, have the same different like hues and everything, whereas the Sun over here just has that really bright burst of the warm colors. This has a mix of the warm and cool, and same with those. So I'm really being drawn to, for some of you, I think going back to your roots and going back to your family or your old friends or something is going to be what triggers this Star moment for yourself. It could also be dealing with family. For some of you, it could be someone in your family who's acting like this. And despite you needing to release this person's energy, you still hold a high regard for other people in your family or just them in general. It's just right now how they're treating you is not the way that you should be treated, and so it's affecting your overall mental health. I'm saying specifically mental health because we're seeing two swords, we're seeing two mental cards, so I'm seeing a lot of that, a little bit more leaning into the emotions as well when it comes to the Six of Cups here. So I think that there's just something, whatever the situation is, there's something that you guys need to come to a realization of and finally allow some chapter to rest. You may need to let go of someone. You may need to let go of ill-conceived notions about yourself before you can move on to a better chapter of your life. So I would like to pull a few cards. I'm actually going to pull two of these. So initially just wanted one, but I'm going to take two for you, group number 3. The first one is the owl and hop, which says wisdom on it. So you will know exactly what you need to do. See how there's two owls here too? There's obviously the owl there. Maybe owls are a big bit of symbolism for you. Perhaps you connect with them. Maybe you are like a night owl. Maybe you are more of a nighttime sort of person. Or perhaps just owls in general, birds of prey in general, really connect with you. And that might be a symbol or message for some of you. But wisdom, I think you really know exactly what needs to be done in order to close out this old chapter and move into this brighter future for yourself. We're also seeing the otter and cattail, which says peace on it. So being able to tap into this and really invoke a sense of peace, a sense of calm for your future. Also, I'm seeing this as being at peace with yourself. Interesting. Let's go ahead and pull a few more cards. I'm going to give this a good shuffle because I feel like it's been a little while since I actually did that with these ones. So for group 3, let's pull some more messages. The first one we have coming out is this Comfrey, which says root down to rise up. Wow, remember when we were talking about the roots earlier? In the Six of Cups here, needing to ground yourself. There's an intense need for you to really bring about this moment of calm, this moment of peace into yourself to finally let go of something that's really been wearing on you for some time now. We have heart, which says gratitude and compassion. So talking to yourself with a higher sense of gratitude and compassion. Whatever it is that you're going through, yes, everyone goes through things, different things, but you need to recognize when you have to be softer on yourself. There's a time to push yourself to strive for something greater, and then there's a time for you to pull back and really allow yourself to be in the moment and not stress out about not seeing results. You need to just give yourself a little bit more grace and a little bit more understanding in order to feel lighter, in order to feel more balanced. And lastly, we are seeing in the waning crescent, it says, I pause in stillness and reflect. So kind of just reiterating things that I was talking about a little bit earlier is you need to really slow down a little bit. I mentioned earlier about how it feels like there's a lot of fire and air sign energy going on in this reading right now. I think this is flat out trying to tell you, you need to see the opposite ends of things. You need to lean a little bit more on the earth and water side of things to be floating in this peaceful lake with this otter here in your emotions, and also to be grounded by those roots. like the earth signs, and really reflect on what has been going on in your life recently, your actions, whether they be against another person or against yourself. You have to see if this is sustainable for you and if you really want to continue down this path. I really think that you're really struggling with something, especially mentally, but you are going to have this bright star moment that is going to transport you to a higher level of self, just as long as you actually work on yourself. It's really hard to do, especially if you are mentally just in some form of turmoil. I know that's a very strong word, but if you are struggling mentally, it can be really hard to tap into this want to look into your own actions or to stand up for yourself. Also, how I had mentioned before, again, that very strong fire air sign energy. The sun here is represented by the zodiac sign of Leo, and then the star is represented by Aquarius. So there is our fire and our air signs coming through as well. Let's go ahead and pull some self-care cards for group number 3. I would love to see what they can do during this time, going into this next chapter. What can they do to kind of help ground them, work through their emotions? Any last signs? The first one we have on here is look for fairies. So on here, for some people, it can almost seem a little like on the woo side, like a little bit too spiritual for some people. But I always take this as, if you're somebody that doesn't believe in fairies or you don't like looking into that sort of magic, the first thing I want to point out is tapping into that childhood fantasy, that childhood like innocence where you will believe basically anything. Think back on what magic did you believe in? So even if it wasn't particularly fairies, what did you think was magical during that time of your life? And go back to that and try to believe a little bit more. Try to leave behind this jaded adult life and go back to the things that really made you feel whimsical and just being able to see so many like signs and everything. The other bit about this too is the look for fairies. Seeing, when we saw all those owls, if you're really connected to a certain like thing in nature, so like say whenever you see mushrooms, you get super excited because like maybe you just think they're really cool and you love taking pictures of them, or a certain animal, so seeing an owl or seeing any other sort of like wildlife, that can also be indicative of fairies. If there's some sort of flower, anything like that that you find wonder and beauty in, and it just makes you happy, maybe go outside over the next few months as we're heading into the end of summer and into autumn, and kind of give yourself a chance to connect with that nature, ground yourself, and look for symbolism when you can. Next we have coming out is make a meal. And in this card, I am one of those people who, when I cook, I try to cook with certain intentions. So I think you guys need to go on a healing journey in the sense of being able to talk to yourself in a softer way. So when you make a meal, try to put in positive energy during that meal. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. You can be cooking eggs in the morning. Just try to speak some intentions into your food as you're making it, being like, I am loved, I am beautiful, I am somebody worthy of respect, I am somebody worthy of happiness. Even something like that just in your head as you're cooking can really help settle your emotions and just give you that little bit more of love than you may not have previously. For those of you who don't like to cook, it could also be like, say you have a fancy little drink that you like making. So if you like making tea or coffee in the morning or nighttime, when you're stirring in your creamer or sugars or anything like that, try to stir and give those intentions into your drink as you're stirring as well. So those are just some small examples on how you can incorporate it. Also, it could be indicative more literally as a time for you to focus on preparing meals at home instead of going out. Because if we go out constantly, that just means that one, we're spending money pretty frivolously on something that we could be doing as an activity for ourselves that'll be far cheaper. And then also, you don't know what's in the food that you're eating when you do go out. So this is a chance to get really hands-on and really know exactly what you're eating and being able to control that and just feel good about what you're eating. So to get off my little soapbox on there, whichever one applies for you, tap into that during this time, just because I think it would be really good for you to connect with food as well. Also, if you are lucky enough to either be someone who gardens your own food, or if you know someone who gardens, maybe see if you can work around with some ingredients from the earth as well, so you can have a little bit more connection to the outside. Again, any chance to feel more grounded in yourself. Time for our last little tile. This one here says, the only fear you have of the unknown is what you think you know about it. Surrender. Magic awaits you. So exactly, like, it's very self-explanatory, is we as humans are afraid of the unknown. We don't want to step out of our little comfortable bubble because we have never known anything beyond what we've experienced. So to put yourself out there and to do and try new things that could break you away from this rut that you're in can be very scary. But if you surrender yourself to it and you push away from your anxieties and try something new, or really put yourself out there, you're going to be able to see little bits of progress and new results for yourself. Kind of like how I mentioned in the star with that like eureka moment, is like, it almost feels like you're struggling for a while, you don't know what to do or where to go, and then you're going to get to this point in your next chapter where you're just going to be like, you know what, screw this, I'm going to finally just I'm going to do what the hell I want, and I'm going to be able to experience whatever the hell I want. And that moment is going to trigger, and you're suddenly going to have all of these blessings come back to you. It also almost feels like a new beginning in the sense of, we went from the star to the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups talking about that childhood memories or nostalgia. It almost feels like you're going, you know what, let's start from the beginning. And you're going to start small and work on maybe healing your inner child. That could be something that you guys may need to focus on heavily if there has been trauma that stems from your childhood that you've been ignoring for some time, and it's getting to the point where it's really causing upset in your life. You may need to focus heavily during this new chapter in your life on healing that, because we all go through things, again, like I mentioned, and we all have issues that we need to work through. So that could be a message for some of you, but just you in general, surrendering your heart to allowing things to happen and just freely coming to you instead of fighting tooth and nail to keep the status quo, to keep what you've always known, and finally embracing the unknown can really help lead to some positive change for you guys, group number 3. So lastly, I'm going to roll this Astro Dice for any last messages. This could be your sun, moon, or rising, or maybe somebody important in your life. Maybe this Queen of Swords reversed could possibly be this as well. The first one we are seeing coming out is Aquarius. So like I mentioned before with the star, we are seeing it once more here. So it could be that you are an Aquarius or have it in your chart. Next, we're seeing Libra. And Libra is all about balance. So keeping yourself balanced, not leaning on one thing like this air and fire and ignoring the water and earth, making sure you stay balanced between all of the elements. And Aquarius again. So you guys, I'm getting really strong Aquarius energy from this reading, obviously. If you were an Aquarius, please let me know, because that has hit me so strong during this reading. I've really felt Aquarian vibes. So please let me know if I've hit the nail on the head with that one. let's recap for you, group number 3. So in this ending of this chapter in your life, there's some sort of Queen of Swords reverse energy. There's this overly emotional or very quick to anger kind of person that's either yourself or somebody else that's just kind of being like, it's my way or the highway, and I'm not going to be listening to anybody else. And you either need to work on that within yourself, or you need to cut this person away from you. It doesn't have to be for good, but it just needs to maybe be until you get to a better standing in your life. We're seeing in the Sun reverse this temporary depression and maybe this lack of progress for a short span of time. But again, just as the clouds will inevitably pass by the sun, it will be revealed once more. You're going to also be going through that. In the Knight of Swords reverse, we're seeing again that scattered energy and almost like a lack of care when it comes to consequences for actions. So just be very mindful during this time that you don't allow that to overrun your life, because there's going to be consequences for things that you do. So just make sure you're very careful about how you do and say things during this time. I feel like towards the end of this chapter, you're going to finally suddenly have this breakthrough moment. You're going to have this sudden beam of hope, this eureka moment that is going to bring about a renewal to your life. And it's going to bring about a lot of calm as well, that I feel like it's been a little while since you guys have felt this sense of calm. And in the Six of Cups, again, that childhood point in time, you either need to work on some childhood traumas, or you're going to be revisiting your childhood, digging deep into your roots. So your family roots, something is going on at home that you either need to work through or you need to revisit in order to heal yourself, especially healing your heart in particular. I think you healing your heart is going to help heal your mind, and you just need to put in the hard work for that during this time. We have a lot of symbolism with owls, so make sure you be on the lookout for owls. If you are like in the country or something and you hear owls at night, that might be a time for you to just pause and really notice what's going on in the moment and how you're feeling in the present. But you are going to be brought this sort of sense of peace if you do go through this hard work. We want to make sure that we're looking for fairies, whether that's just symbolism or touching back on the things that you believed in when you were a child, and also putting intentions into your meal. And then we had a lot that was calling you to really ground yourself. So this root down to rise up, gratitude and compassion for yourself, and then I pause in stillness and reflect. So pausing and really reflecting on what you've been doing up until this point and how you can make a change, because until you step into the unknown, you're just going to remain the same. And know that you're protected during this time. Again, that black tourmaline is there to help protect you and remove and purify any negative energies that surround you. So if you got this far in your reading, group number 3, thank you so much. I'm so thankful that you were able to receive this message. If you liked it or it resonated with you, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick a card readings in the future. Let me know if you're an Aquarius, because we got so much that was just pulling towards air sign, and I really am interested on that. And also, if you're not, let me know what you believed in as a child. What fairies did you believe in that really just lit you up inside and made you just feel like the world was so magical? Again, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Remember to subscribe to join the Crow Coven, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading all about the next chapter in your life. So this is going to be about the things that you are currently closing out of and the new opportunities coming toward you. To get this reading started, we have you being represented by this tiger's eye. And in this tiger's eye, we are seeing this push for confidence, having protection, as well as integrity and willpower within yourself. And it can really help in promoting a more positive attitude and actually help in when you need a little bit more assistance in really accomplishing your goals. So we're seeing this point where you're kind of going through almost a transitional period where maybe you started off with pretty like low energy and you are starting to slowly gain some more confidence and really being able to push yourself a bit more toward your goals instead of things just letting you like pass you by kind of thing. I'm getting this feeling like a lot of you, you're almost like, it feels almost like you're making a list and you're like, here are the things that I'm going to do to start getting my life in track. And it's something that you have been either thinking about for a little while, or it's something that you have actively been doing for a little bit of time to kind of slowly step up a little bit more for yourself. Perhaps that's just simply a message for you guys who haven't done it yet, or maybe you never even like thought about it and you're like, you know what, I've never tried it, let's give it a go. So it could be just a message for some of you that maybe it would help to prioritize things and really have your goals on paper so you can work toward it and really have this sense of progression in obtaining that goal. So to start off with, in your reading, using the wild unknown, but for the intro, I sat down and I shuffled all the cards, was thinking about your group, and I pulled these 5 cards. So I have not seen these ones either, and I'm going to go through them with you now. We're going to go card by card. So starting off, we are seeing Death in the reversed position, and Death is never a card that I see as a scary card. I know some people can get nervous when they see Death pop up, but this is truly about a card that deals with endings and beginnings, and again, that transformation, like how I had mentioned before. However, we're seeing this resistance to this transformation on your end, or an inability to move on. There's something that is holding you back, and this could be truly you at the end of this cycle and going into your next chapter. Maybe you're a little scared of the unknown and what could possibly be out there for you and what could possibly change, what you may gain or even lose during this time. And so you're kind of digging your heels in a little bit. It could feel almost like the stuck, stubborn energy where you're resisting this want to change. But I'm seeing it as something that it's going to come no matter what, because time always marches onward. And so you just holding yourself back and choosing not to aid yourself during this time is really going to hinder you. So I think that you are slowly going to finally close out this chapter, still resisting it, but you're gonna have a little bit more knowledge on where to point yourself in the next chapter, because again, you're really afraid of this close. I'm just getting this like this weird message, just like feeling of like almost like I'm scared kind of thing of knowing, and I can just like feel it in my chest kind of thing. But next we have the 6 of Wands, and this card is really, really great when we're seeing this resistance, and then you see this butterfly like flying away from all these brambles. So you see how the skeleton is stuck in these brambles, and then you see this butterfly flying off. And I don't know why, but anytime I see this card in particular, I don't feel this way with almost any other tarot deck I use, but specifically the Wild Unknown. This is one of my favorite ones that I use a lot. I always get this sense of moving on, because this card doesn't generally deal with moving on. This is more of a card that deals with you finally gaining public recognition. There's some sort of progress towards moving. So I guess, yeah, maybe that's it, is that progress of, but again, I feel like it's moving on from something that was negative to something more positive. And it also invokes self-confidence. So again, kind of like how we saw in the tiger eye, we have this self-confidence coming back to us. So I really think that you're going to get to this point where you're trying to come out of your cocoon and really blossom and move forward. And we're seeing that other people are noticing it too. So you're going to be doing something that is going to be really noticeable to your peers. This could also be something like perhaps you are someone who is trying to run your own either YouTube channel, or like maybe you are trying to do things on TikTok, something like that, where you are putting things out there and other people are going to finally start seeing you. In the King of Cups in the reverse position, I'm seeing, however, that there is this is either a person or this is you that's going through this during this time. He talks about a sense of moodiness because it is a cups, it's dealing with emotions. So it could be someone who is acting very emotionally volatile, or someone who is manipulating emotions in order to get what they want or to change things in their favor. So during this time, I would say be careful of if this is someone else, and if someone is acting this way, try to steer clear from them. I'm getting this feeling like it is someone else, specifically because it says Father of Cups. I'm getting a male figure in your life. They don't need to be male identifying. It could just be someone who has masculine energy, but there's someone who is possibly taking things out on you. And it almost feels like they're nitpicking you about what you're doing and your inability to do something. They're just really going at you, and it's really harming your kind of like your self-image, and you're feeling very hurt, but also kind of, I'm getting this weird feeling of being like, yeah, but your opinion doesn't matter. So it's like you still care about what they think because it feels like an authority figure of some sort, like perhaps it's a parent, but you're also like, but I'm still going to do what I want, is the vibe that I'm getting. For those of you where this is yourself, if you know you're someone who, when under extreme duress, you lash out in ways that could be seen as very moody, or perhaps you're feeling one way one day and then suddenly your mood changes and then you're acting out the next day, that would be something where we want to try to ground ourselves and not allow the stress to get the better of us to take things out on other people. We want to try to, or even ourselves, and we don't want to hold on to that negativity. So there may be a need, if this is coming out as you want to examine yourself during this time, pause and reflect and really think upon your actions instead of lashing out immediately. But for most people, I'm getting that this is someone in their life. The next card we have coming out is the Seven of Cups in the reverse position. And in this card, this talks about some sort of temptation or some sort of illusion. And there's something going on in the background that's hiding you from the truth. So in your next chapter, for some of you, I'm almost getting like the possibility of either a friend or a partner who is not quite wanting what's best for you, is kind of like hiding something from you, and that's really making it hard for you to just see what's good for you in general. It's like you're trying to have this moment finally, and then you get brought back down and like tested again after going through this want to not have change kind of thing. The one thing that I also see this card in, again, kind of like how I talked about, this card always gives me moving on vibes. This one here, whenever I see it, there are 6 cups that are upside down and then the 1 cup that is right side up. So it almost sometimes gives me that positive aspect of you're able to see the negative things, see the deceitful things, or the things that are hidden, like how the cups are upside down. It's almost like like a cup and ball game where they hide the ball and then they kind of try to mix up the cups and you have to guess which one the right one is. It's almost like you're succeeding in being able to reveal that because there's that one cup that's up, and I always see it as how that sun is coming out from there. It feels like you're seeing past it. So I feel like for some of you, there's going to be a realization with a person in your life. You're going to see past these illusions. Again, this card specifically talks about being deceived or having some temptation, having some illusion, or there's something going on in the background that you can't quite tell what the answer is. But I always see this one so strongly. It's such a, like, I read it so intuitively that you are able to reveal it. So I really believe that you just need to be on the lookout for these signs. Keep it in the back of your mind, especially I'm seeing like the next 3 months, there's gonna be this sort of change where it's gonna start appearing around that time within the 1 to 3 month mark. Just be very careful during this time with who you're getting close to and what you're sharing with other people. I keep hearing the word like secrets. So keep hearing like somebody's keeping something from you. For a very small majority of you, it's actually you keeping secrets from other people. And it may not be because you're trying to be malicious in any way. It almost feels like you're doing it because of your own safety. And like you have to be almost like undercover for some reason because it's just not safe for you to be yourself during this time. Lastly, we have the 8 of Pentacles, and this card really talks about this ability to work at a craft in a repeated fashion to the point where you gain a higher level of quality. So this is an education card. This is a card where it's like practice makes perfect kind of thing. I always see this as my card of if you're seeking higher learning. So say you are going into college or you are studying for something on a higher level in order to hone whatever craft that you have. I'm seeing this as you really being methodical and taking that on. So it could be during this next chapter in your life, you get to the point where you start seeking that higher learning. And it doesn't have to be a strict like school setting. It could be something as easy as like taking a course online, or you're surrounding yourself with like a bunch of free YouTube videos about a specific subject that you have interest in, and you're starting to really work on gathering that knowledge that you need to move forward with it. And it can also show that you're very like engaged with your work. Like you aren't passively just doing things just to do them. You are being, again, extremely methodical, like how a spider created this web here and how they have to interlink each of their silk to create the cobweb itself. It's taking the necessary steps in order to perfect a craft kind of thing. This is gonna seem out of pocket. But I got a really distinct message when I was talking, especially when I mentioned the secrets about keeping something away from some people. This is feeling like for some of you that there may be this resistance to, I'm talking from maybe personal experience right here a little bit. If you are someone who is in the queer community, or perhaps you are looking to transition, I'm almost getting this feeling like you are holding back from really looking into yourself and really coming to terms with, yes, I identify as something different, and you're finally going to be able to break free and show to some people that you are the way that you are. And there's going to be someone in your life who does not agree with this. And this was a secret that you were keeping from people that you're finally revealing. I'm seeing this reveal. I'm seeing it as you are coming out, and it is going to be a very important thing for you, but it's also going to be a very scary thing for you. And lastly, I'm seeing almost this higher learning as you're either learning more about yourself, or you're learning about what you need to do for transitioning, or you are possibly going to school and that's pulling you away from this environment. And that's kind of why you felt safe in the first place to say, hey, this is who I am because I'm going and doing this. Trans rights, obviously I am trans, so I do support you. And if that is something that you resonate with, then let me know. If it's safe to do so, leave a comment, because I've never gotten that strong of a pull in any of my readings before, or the feeling like I needed to say it, but I definitely needed to in this reading. And I know that is not going to be something that resonates with everyone. It's just an example that I had. There could be any form of secret that you are needing to keep from other people because it may change their opinions of you, or it may hurt you if you reveal it to the wrong people who may judge you in some way. Just know that I feel you are protected during this time, and you're going to be able to have so much more self-confidence and strength to be able to move past this point. So I'm sorry about the rant. I needed to get that one out. Let's move forward into your reading. I am going to shuffle this last one here. I said last, but I am not just doing one last one. Okay. Interestingly enough, we got another spider. So we have the spider and passion flower that came out for you, which says creative ingenuity. So I believe that you are someone who can really problem solve. You can really work your way out of any sort of issue if you put your mind to it, and you can do things in such a way that it almost seems like for other people, they would be like, how in the world did you do that? Like people who believe that the only way to go is a 9-to-5 job and there's nothing beyond that. You're somebody who kind of rejects that, and you're like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a YouTuber. I'm going to focus on my artwork and be self-sustainable during with that, with commissions or something. There's something about you that you do that other people see, and they're just like, they think that you can't do it, that you won't be able to make it, but you just have this passion inside of you that really shows that you do have that ability. Next, we have the squirrel and chestnut, and this is preparation. So again, really needing to prepare yourself. I'm specifically thinking about a very important conversation, needing to prepare yourself for a change. It could be because it was on the 8 of Pentacles, that needing to prepare yourself for that study, that education, whatever that you need to do to further yourself. You are preparing yourself to do that during this time, or towards the time of you closing it out and moving on to that new opportunity. You're definitely not taking it lightly. You're trying to be more serious, I think, about your life right now. The other thing too is squirrels, they go around and hunt for their food in order to prepare for winter. So there could be something time frame wise going on. There could be something going on in the winter that's coming up, and that's going to mark kind of that time for change. Interesting. Just keep that in mind. If there's something going on during the winter time. I'm gonna pull a few of these cards. For group number 4, what other messages can we pull? The first one we have is compass, which says follow your inner compass. So you needing to listen to yourself and really guide yourself during this time. What feels right to you? Who feels safe to talk to about things going on in your life? Who is your safety net versus the people who you know are not going to agree with you? That is something that I think is very important for you to consider during this time in order to live a more authentic you and also stay protected during this time. Not everyone needs to know about your inner workings if they're never going to understand and they're going to reject you, is something that I just feel like I need to say. Just know that you will find the right people and the ones that you can go to and be your truest self to. Next we have Sagittarius. So this could be your sun, moon, or rising. Sagittarius has this energy of spontaneous, energetic, and very intellectual. So very much the type of person who would go off on a solo, soul-searching journey kind of thing. Someone who's not afraid to take on an adventure or really just go about things in a way that is authentically themselves. Very driven and very powerful energy. Honestly, Tiger Eye, with it saying the confidence, protection, integrity, and willpower, that really gives me a lot of Sagittarius vibes as well. Any last messages for group 4? 2, because I just dropped one on the floor, so I'm actually going to pick this one up as well. But this first one we have is citrine, which says abundance on it. We're once more seeing this like fiery kind of energy coming out in the sun. Citrine is also all about happiness. So you will reach this point where there will be this intense happiness in your life that will finally start coming your way. Again, I'm seeing it as when you're able to really bloom, blossom, again, coming out of that cocoon, sprouting into something different. You were caterpillar, butterfly, the trans allegory. It's showing that when you're able to be your true self, you're going to be able to blossom and you're going to be able to have happiness and abundance beyond it. And lastly, we have amethyst that came out showing intuition. So being able to listen to yourself. I'm so interested too in the fact that we had the sun and the moon come out in these 2 cards. So being able to listen to yourself about what you truly want, facing your fears. The moon is all about fears and illusions. Again, on the illusion card here, it's about working past that anxiety and your subconscious mind and really allowing yourself to realize fully things about yourself. But listen to yourself first and foremost. Don't follow things because they're a trend. Don't listen to other people's opinions about who you are or what you are. You are the only person who knows how you are in your life. So you need to make sure that you listen to yourself. I'm going to pull some self-care cards for you, group number 4. So during this new chapter in group 4's life, what are some important things that they need to focus on? Get a couple of messages here. The first one we have is soak in a bath. So this could be just as literal as perhaps you're somebody that really enjoys soaking in the bath and you really find yourself reaching this point of calm and this ability to meditate when you're in the bath. You can perform any sort of bathing ritual that can help you calm down, or if you just like aromatherapy along with a bath, that can be very helpful during this time. The other thing that I would say too is that with it being water, we're seeing this this need to delve into your emotions, to settle in with your emotions and truly feel them. Don't push them away from you. We want to make sure that you are okay on an emotional level and you are taking care of yourself emotionally. And the next one that we've pulled out is hydrate. So once again, very obviously water. We're seeing this need for you to surround yourself with water, perhaps you just feel more at ease. Like if you're somebody that loves to go to the beach so you can just look at the waves and you just calm right down, it may be time for you to go to a beach if you have the ability to do so. Or if, again, you love soaking in water, I think surrounding yourself with water is going to really help you during this time. I'm also getting the very literal sense that you need to hydrate yourself. Water is the kind of like the lifeblood of our bodies besides blood, you know. It's something that helps us continue and purify. Really, I'm trying to think, really being able to just run our body efficiently. And water and sleep are like some of the two most important things that our bodies and minds need that we like never give ourselves. So make sure that you are properly hydrated during this time, and also speak intentions into water. I know this is really weird to say, but when you're going to take a bath, try to speak some intentions like as you're settling down into it. Things like, I am beautiful, or I am living my truest self. Things like that, so you can feel more at ease or more comfortable with who you are and your choices and things that are going on in your life, situations that are going on, to just try and help, again, ease yourself. Any last messages for group 4? This last one here says, you are a soul living in a flesh temple made of stardust, riding a rock through space. Don't sweat the small stuff. You're pure magic and mystery. And this is really just letting you know that you inherently, as your being, yes, you are just one person in a world of billions, but you are so uniquely yourself that you need to let go of little things that clutter your mind and bring about stress and anxieties as best as you possibly can, because you have so much untapped potential and so much ability to be able to give back, especially with this creative ingenuity here. Being able to give things back to your community and the world around you. And if you are constantly worried about what every other person's opinion is about you, you're just gonna hold yourself back from being able to experience the things that you want to experience in your life. And this is kind of me going on a tirade, because I have to talk myself through this almost each and every time I make one of these YouTube videos. Is I always am afraid, like, what if my video doesn't look good, or what if I stumble on my words, or what if I sound absolutely wild and people don't think this resonates with them. I constantly worry about those things, but I have to push those things aside because I feel drawn to do this, and I have so many people that cheer me on, and the positive energy I get back from people who like leave comments being like, wow, this resonated with me, things like that help drive me. And I wouldn't have this experience and this learning opportunity to figure out this whole YouTube thing unless I stepped out of that comfort zone and was able to go, you know what, I'm going to do what I want because I want to, kind of thing. So you can do the same thing. Just know that whatever it is that you desire, you can reach a point that you will be able to succeed, and just let the other things, let it all roll off your back. Try as best as possible, because I know how hard it is. I let things get to me all the time. So just know that you really have the ability and the protection right now to go through this change in this phase. So lastly, we're going to roll this astro dice. This could be your sun, moon, or rising, or somebody in your life, perhaps this Father of Cups reversed, their zodiac signs during this new chapter. Could be people important to you. Excuse me. The first one we have coming out is Scorpio, and honestly, this is so funny. I should have said it earlier because now I'm going to sound like I'm making something up, but when I was saying secrets earlier, I was thinking Scorpio, and it's simply because Scorpio, they're very secretive about who they let into their inner world. They would much rather hear about everyone around them and know every little thing about them and what makes them tick than to actually tell anything about themselves, at least in my experience. So this is something that I wish I said it before, but honestly, I was feeling Scorpio extremely heavily. So I don't know if that's sun, moon, or rising of you or somebody else in your life, but just wanted to point that out. May as well. Next, we have Cancer. So we are seeing some of that water coming through, that soaking in a bath and hydrate. We're in the moon even. When I was talking about the moon, Cancer, really feeling present and being in your emotions a lot. And lastly, we have Leo. And there's all of our fire. So we had Sagittarius coming out, but we also had sun indicators here and here. Leo is ruled by the Sun card, so very positive vibes as well too with seeing Leo up here. So keep those Leos near you if they are wishing for your well-being. So quickly to recap group number 4, we are seeing you having this hard time when it comes to a transition of some sorts. There's this digging your heels in kind of thing because you're unable to move on for something or resisting this change. But I'm seeing that you're going to finally have this public recognition. You're finally going to allow yourself to succeed in something. You're going to feel victorious about something because you're going to feel this progression and have this self-confidence about you. But either you or someone in your life during this time is going to kind of be a little bit of a Debbie Downer here with this King of Cups in the reverse position, this authority figure who could possibly be emotionally manipulative or just being very moody or volatile. So protect yourself during this time. And also, if this is you, be careful that you are not bringing this upon yourself or other people. You're not trying to use it to hurt yourself or other people. Try to get that in check and ground yourself during that time. Next, we are seeing in the 7 of Cups in the reverse position that there's some sort of secret, there's some sort of illusion that needs to be seen through. There's some sort of temptation in your life. But again, how I was reading this card is that one cup that's up and the sun being there. I feel like something is going to be revealed during this time, and it's going to be for the betterment of you. And lastly, we had in the 8 of Pentacles, this need for practice makes perfect, higher education, things like that. So you may be going to school or learning a new craft during this time. We had creative ingenuity and preparation. So you preparing yourself for either the winter time or just preparing yourself for a secret to be revealed, and you using your creative abilities. I think especially in tandem with this card, the fact that these are both spiders, I really think that you are somebody who is leaning on some sort of creative education, creative background that's going to better your future, and other people are going to be looking at you like, what? How are they doing that? But you are going to make it. Again, water is very important to you during this time, whether it's you soaking in a bath, in nature, just sort of looking at water like the waves or being in a creek, anything like that, as well as hydrating your body with water. We want to make sure that you follow your inner compass. You're going to be garnering happiness and abundance to yourself. You need to listen to yourself and face your fears. And also, if you are a Sagittarius or you don't have it in your chart, take on that spontaneous, energetic, and intellectual energy that Sagittarius, I almost said Scorpio again, that Sagittarius has in order to really push yourself and drive yourself for more. And don't be afraid of just letting things roll off your back. And again, don't sweat the small stuff. Those things can fall away from you because you know who you are. At the end of the day, you have you and you have your ability to be uniquely yourself. So just make sure that you are honoring that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for getting to this point in your reading. Group 4, if you liked this reading or it resonated with you, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick a Card readings in the future and to join the Crow Coven. And also, I am so curious if any of this resonated, especially the stuff up here, or I keep getting drawn back to Secrets and Scorpio. If that is in your life, there's something going on, please let me know if that resonated with you, because I'm just so curious about that, but only if it is safe for you to do so. And I will see you guys in our next video.